Welcome, everyone, to Planet of NY Sports. Here we talk Yankees, Mets, Giants, Jets, and a little bit of the Knicks and Nets. So, today, we got you an off-season video, our top targets, along with a little news. And real quick here, let's start with the news. All right, so yesterday, we'll get to the Mets in a second, too. But yesterday, Brian Cashman is outside talking to a lot of Yankee beat reporters. And guess what this guy says? I'm not going to repeat everything that Cashman said, but it was bad. It was really, really bad. This guy said, oh, I think we're pretty bleeping good. All right, we have the smallest analytic team, so I don't know why everyone is saying that we are, we're so driven by analytics, blah, blah, blah. Oh, look at Joey Gallo and Sonny Gray. They're, playoff teams pick those guys up. Yeah, Brian, but guess what? They weren't good when they were here on your team, buddy. They weren't good here. I don't care about them getting picked up by playoff teams. Roderick, was Joey Gallo good as a Yankee?
Oh, let me check my notes right quick. Nah, he wasn't.
Was Sonny Gray good as a Yankee?
No.
So, I'm not going to, I'm already on the Fire Cashman trade. But if you weren't on the Fire Cashman trade before this, I don't know how you can say, as a fan now that the Yankees got to move on. Because they have to at this point. Either this guy is really just, shoving the, immunity that he has in front of the fans, because obviously he's not going to get fired. Hal doesn't have the guts to do that. Or maybe Hal, who knows? Maybe Hal will think about it in the future, and Cashman is feeling the pressure because the media has officially turned on Brian Cashman. Now, moving on to the Mets. Roderick, how about you tell us about the Mets' new manager?
Well, last Friday, the Mets signed a new manager, Carlos Mendoza, former Yankees bench coach. Initial reaction, I text Russell, who is this guy? Never heard of him. Obviously, we were in on a guy like Craig Counsell. That ended up not happening. He ended up going to Chicago. And it's not that I'm upset that we didn't get Counsell. I'm upset that we didn't get someone who I knew. Obviously, I'm a casual baseball fan, but still. I don't know who this guy is. I can't really judge the hire because I've never heard of this guy before. So we'll see come, let's say May or June what this guy is all about, and hopefully he can kind of shift that locker room into a winning culture, because as Tommy Pham said, we don't like winning apparently in that clubhouse. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Yep, I'm not going to make any judgments either, but I'm not going to go and say, oh, this is the best hire the Mets could make. I can't say that. I don't really know. Roderick doesn't know. Yeah, it wasn't. There was other guys out there. A guy that just got hired today, Roderick. Do you want to talk about him for like a quick second?
Ronnie Washington. Just seems like a guy who would bring a clubhouse together. Seems like a good manager. You know what I'm saying? That's about it. But he went to the Angels, so.
Yeah, and he did manage Texas years ago, and he did pretty well when he was managing them. So I'll just keep that in mind. But anyways, moving on here to free agency. Yes, the off-season winter meetings. Excitement for certain teams. For other teams, probably gonna, sign stopgaps and other things. And that team is gonna be the Yankees. Let's real quick here. I'm gonna start off with them because Roderick has a whole list, and his list is better. And I could see this happening. For the Yankees, I have a mix of guys that I would want. There's some pros and cons with quite a few of them. And do I see most of these happening? Probably not. That's the thing here. I don't see most of these happening. So I have some realistic ones, and then I have some unrealistic ones. So starting off with, let's just get it out of the way. Realistic dudes. And I'm going to go rapid fire here. Rapid fire. I'm not going to go in blah, blah, blah. Rapid fire. Kevin Kiermaier. Oh, boy. Goodness gracious. I already could see the Yankees doing this. This is perfect for Brian Cashman. The defense and the speed is still there. He hit better than average this year and would be a good stopgap as we wait for Dominguez to get healthy. And you can make the case that the Yankees are probably going to sign at least one stopgap outfielder, because Cashman said he wanted 2 outfielders, preferably left-handed. Okay. So let's say it's like a Bellinger, who I'll get into later, a Bellinger, Kiermaier type of free agency. Would I be mad at that? No. But anyways, let's look at some other guys. Michael A. Taylor. He's similar to Kiermaier. He's younger, but he's right-handed. So this wouldn't make a lot of sense, but I could see the Yankees totally doing it. Jock Peterson. Look, I know. Some of you are saying, Jock Peterson? That guy strike, please. But guess what? His swing at Yankee Stadium, just think about that. I would take that. Roger, how do you feel about Jock Peterson possibly as a Yankee?
I mean, first of all, no. But, I mean, if it did happen, I think it would benefit him. Obviously, like you said, that swing at Yankee Stadium, you could be looking at a guy easily hitting 30 bombs and, maybe getting a 40. So that'd give him some pop in that lineup.
Yeah. But guess what? This is why that wouldn't work, because probably his defense is very weak. And so you already got Giancarlo Stanton, who can't hit, run, or field. So I don't know how you're going to split time there. Next, we can look at Dylan Carlson. The Yankees have already been linked to him in previous years. We have heard this. We heard it last year. I think we heard it the year before. Dylan Carlson is an option. He is like a 4th outfielder type of guy. So I think his value is at his lowest point. He's coming off of an injury. He didn't hit well this year when he did come back. But who knows? Maybe he can regain some form. See, I'm talking like Brian Cashman, because this is probably what they are going to do. I will get to the ones that are out there in a second. Also, let's look at Brandon Drury.
Mets legend.
Guess what? You can trade for him. He has 1 year of control left. Would be a cheap trade candidate. He's a power hitting infielder. Can put him at third. Put him at, because also on the topic of Gleyber Torres, it does sound like Cashman might try to trade Torres with all the, influx with the infield. He may try to trade Torres. So does a guy like Brandon Drury come in and possibly fill in a spot? Okay, fine. And then let's get to the options that are, that are out there that I would probably want. Cody Bellinger. Now, see, I'm a little torn on Cody Bellinger. I can't even lie. Because part of me is like, yeah, Cody Bellinger. Imagine his swing at Yankee Stadium, left-handed. His dad played for the Yankees. But I can't lie. Still, I know he was hurt. Those, other 2 years with the Dodgers. But it still worries me a little. It still worries me that it was a contract year. These type of years worry me because look at Carlos Rodon. Oh my gosh. Do not get me started on that. Because knowing the Yankees' luck, they're going to overbid, and the Yankees absolutely should not do this because look at what happened with Jacoby Ellsbury. Do not bid against yourselves for this. And I think that there's a high chance that the Cubs are going to re-sign him anyway because the Cubs are looking to spend money this free agency, and I can totally see them starting off by locking up Bellinger. But look, we can get Bellinger, okay, but is he going to improve us in a meaningful way? Because the Yankees obviously have a lot more needs. And for what Bellinger can possibly get, is that worth the risk? Roderick, do you think Bellinger is worth the risk for the Yankees?
It's a good question. Actually, yeah, I believe at Yankee Stadium, yeah, I do believe it's worth the risk because the defense will be there. We obviously know Bellinger has a plus arm, has a plus glove. So even if he does struggle at times offensively, you got to think that in Yankee Stadium eventually, he'll get it going.
Yep. Now, also, another guy that the Yankees had before. You had this guy before. Jordan Montgomery. Guess what, Brian? Brian Cashman said, Jordan Montgomery, we're going to trade him for Harrison Bader because, quite frankly, we don't see Jordan Montgomery being on the postseason roster. We don't see him starting a game for us. Well, guess how that worked out? Guess what? This year, guy gets traded to Texas, and guess what Texas does? They win the World Series. And also, real quick here, Brian Cashman also used the excuse because the Yankees are full of excuses. This is what they love doing. He used the excuse of injuries. Brian, you want to talk about injuries? Okay, how come the Texas Rangers, who just won the World Series, they lost Jacob deGrom for the rest of the year, and then they still made moves, and won the World Series? So I don't want to hear the excuse of injuries anymore. I do not want to hear that. I don't want to hear it. Injuries happen. Injuries are a part of the game. And the fact that you're still going to sit there and make excuse after excuse after excuse is mind-boggling. Roger, just real quick here, just getting off on a little tangent here. How did you feel about Brian Cashman's comments from yesterday?
I found them particularly grotesque because as somebody who's been in his position for so long and has had success in the past, but hasn't had any in a significantly long time, those words were pretty rich. I got to be honest. To get in front of the media jackals and run his mouth off when he hasn't done anything, like I said, who knows how long? Well, we know how long, but for a very long time, it's very rich of him to come out and start talking that talk.
Yep. And if I'm being honest here, the Yankee, like I've already said, the press is starting to turn against Brian Cashman. They are starting. You can already see it in some articles. You can already see it. Sherman, he wrote, targets for a disaster-filled or possible disaster-filled year for the Yankees. You can already see it now. People are starting to realize that Brian Cashman is not the answer. He's not. And I'm glad that they're asking tough questions. But going back on to free agency, another guy that I have in mind, this guy you can trade for. And this is a risk too. But I have seen it. It's Juan Soto. Now, I'm indifferent on Juan Soto, or at least trading for Juan Soto, because he is going to hit free agency regardless. Regardless. So, are you going to be willing to trade certain prospects for 1 year of Juan Soto? I don't know if you do that. I'm not sure. But would he make this offense better? Yeah, left-handed bat, outfield. Roderick, how would you feel about Juan Soto fitting in with the Yankees?
No. That's all I'm saying. Just no.
Why?
Because I don't want to see Juan Soto in any pinstripes besides the orange and blue. All right, Juan Soto to the Yankees would be like if LeBron went to the Knicks or something like that. That would just be catastrophic. And and while it would work out for the Yankees, that it would be so bad for baseball. Oh, goodness gracious! Just no.
Bad for
And I think, well, obviously the Yankees won't do this because Cashman's a. I gotta choose my words wisely here. Cashman's afraid to make a move like that, or you just flat out won't do it. But I mean, it would work for sure. So he's a great player, but they're not gonna do it, thankfully.
Yeah, and in part, nor should they. At least they should not trade for him because I don't know if with the state of the Yankees right now, giving up certain, young valuable pieces when you're still far away from being a contender right now. For Juan Soto, 1 year, I just don't think you can do that. Free agency, when he hits free agency next year, we can have a different conversation. But right now, no. Now, moving on to let's just go with the Mets. Roderick, take it away.
All right, I gotta be quick here because these videos are getting way too long. Starting with what we need. We need pitching. Uh, let's go unrealistic first. Shohei Ohtani, boom, quick, done. Don't have to say much there. Now getting on to more realistic possibilities. Um, Blake Snell, Aaron Nola, Sonny Gray, and Jordan Montgomery, and Yamamoto. The Mets, pretty sure they're going to get Yamamoto. I'm not really worried about that. But of those next four guys, Snell, Montgomery, Nola, and Gray, I would like one of those four because right now our rotation is literally just Kodai Senga. So getting Yamamoto and Senga is a nice 1-2 punch. If you get another guy like Montgomery or Gray in there, that's a good 1-2-3. We're in a playoff series. I like that line, that rotation. Moving on to the offensive side of things, the Mets don't really need too much offensively. So extend Pete Alonso. We've heard Stearns talking about, oh, we're going to keep these conversations behind closed doors and he doesn't want to talk about it. If Pete Alonso, who was the best homegrown player the Mets have had since David Wright, you give him away, the fan base will hate you. We're going to want you fired. We're not going to show up. Extend Alonso. This free agency class, in terms of hitting, isn't all that spectacular. Guys like Jack Peterson, Bellinger headline it, but the Mets don't really need any of these guys. In terms of depth, a guy like Teoscar Hernandez or Jorge Soler, guys who have, below average defense, but could be, a DH spot in that DH spot instead of Danny Burgers. Oh my gosh, they could potentially fill that role. So them on a 1 to 2 year deal, about 10 to 15, no, not 10 to 15, but like 7 to 12 per. I could see that happening. The last thing I would like to look at, because Brett Beatty has struggled at times, is Matthew Chapman. And I don't think the Mets will do this. I don't think they're going to get that aggressive. But, it's a strong glove. Had a strong hitting season, kind of tapered off at the end a little bit. But if you can get him for the right price, I would like that. And for the Mets, that's about it. We obviously need bullpen help. Sign Josh Hader. I'm joking, but yeah. So shoring up that bullpen and getting 1 or 2 more starting pitching arms is what I'm looking at.
Yep. So there you all have it, folks. Yeah. One fan has hope, and I could see some of that stuff happening. I can see it happening. Now, across in the Bronx, we got our GM cursing outside, and I really don't know the state of this Yankee team right now. I really don't, and I don't know what they're going to do. Apparently, there was news coming out today that they checked in with Bellinger, but I feel like the Yankees have checked in with everybody almost every offseason, so that is kind of a non-story. Roderick, any more thoughts?
Josh Dobbs is him.
Oh, well, yeah. Oh, football. Let's not talk about football and in Giant land.
Tommy DeVito.
Yeah, we are done talking about the Giants probably we're done reviewing Giant games for the rest of the year. Jets, we'll probably have a Jet video later this week because they're facing like the Raiders. So that'll be an interesting game. That'll be very interesting. This is a must win for the Jets, but I digress. Now, if you can all do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We'll see you all in the next video. Comment down your thoughts. Comment who you would like the Yankees or Mets to target, to trade for, to sign. We'll see you all in the next video.